Well, hello, friends, and welcome to the Imago Nutrition Podcast, where we answer your questions and give you practical nutrition strategies to help you and your family flourish. My name is Mark Lesney. I am one of your hosts. I will be flying solo today. Danielle is not with me, but hope you've been enjoying our solo podcast as well as our combined podcast episodes. Always look forward to having her on the show together so we can talk through some of these things. Today, as I said, going solo, and we have a very common question. Okay. And the question is, how do I calculate my calories for weight loss? Dun, dun, dun. It's such a big question, such a big topic. And there's so much confusion about what is the method, what is the reason, what is the number, what is the calculation, why am I doing this, et cetera, et cetera. And so if you're one of those people that has been wondering, how do you practically and accurately calculate your calories for weight loss? This is the episode for you. And so, as always, if you have a question, you can send that to us for consideration as a podcast episode. And so to do that, head over to imagonutrition.com. That's IMAGO nutrition.com/podcast. Scroll down that page just a bit. You'll see a form that you can fill out, submit your question, and we will look at it as a possible topic for a future episode. So with that, back to the question, which again is an amazing question. It's a big question. It's arguably one of the questions I get the most, which is, how many calories should I be eating in order to lose weight? And yes, the answer is different for every single human being, okay? And so with that, let's talk about a couple things, and I'll give us a little bit of a roadmap where we're going today. I want to talk about generally three things. Number one, we'll just talk about real quick, what is the relationship between calories and body weight, okay? And so why do we need to look at calories and calculate calories and think about and understand calories in relation to weight loss? Number two, we'll take a look at, okay, with that understanding, then how do I calculate my calories for weight loss? I'm going to give you two methods. And both very accurate. One more accurate than the other, but takes longer. The other one is slightly less accurate. Doesn't mean it's less accurate, but it's a lot quicker. And we'll talk through kind of some of the nuances of that. And so I'm going to give you two methods to choose from that we utilize here at Imago Nutrition when working with weight loss clients. And then third, I want to talk about real quick too, protein consideration in the weight loss goal. Within that context, we'll talk about, again, sort of what's the relationship between calories and weight loss? How do you calculate your calories for weight loss? And then within those calories, why you should be focused to a certain degree on protein. And I'll give you some very practical takeaways for that as well. So, okay, with that, hopefully that set it up well. Excited to get into this topic because it is one that I deal with on a daily basis. And so that is, I would say, the majority of the folks that I work with, I'm safe to say, it come from a weight/fat loss perspective, and that's cool. That's great. And so let's take a look at, number one, the relationship between calories and body weight, okay? The way I like to start, and you may have heard this in a previous episode, the way I like to start is by thinking of the term calorie. Often when we think of the term calorie, what pops into our brain or the image that we see is food. And that's not totally incorrect, but it's also not entirely accurate because while food contains calories, matter in and of itself is not what a calorie means. What a calorie is it's a unit of energy. And so think of a little bit like a car. When you see a car, you're not necessarily looking at gasoline. You're seeing the vehicle, right, that contains gasoline, but you're not looking directly at the gasoline. And so the same thing is true with food. So when you see food, you're seeing matter, but the term calorie is the unit of energy inside of it or being delivered with it. And so another analogy would be a cord. You know, I'm on a laptop right now. The cord running, the physical cord running to my laptop doesn't charge or juice my laptop. It's the energy running through it. So the term calorie is a unit of energy. It's like saying volt or amp or watt. And so that hopefully starts to reshape our perspective that calories don't necessarily equal food, though food contains calories. Calorie is a unit of energy, and the food is the delivery system of that. Why this is important is because weight, body weight, is what's called an energy-dependent adaptation. Okay, so the body adapts And the mechanism by which it loses weight, maintains its weight, or gains weight is a principle known as energy balance, okay? Energy balance. And so if weight is an energy-dependent adaptation and calories are energy, we need to talk about calories in relation to body weight, okay? Hope that makes sense. And so there are only 3 states that the body can be in. They can fluctuate in and out of these 3 states on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and on average, a monthly basis. So there's only 3 states of energy balance. One would be a positive energy balance. That is where someone consumes more calories than they expend on average over time, okay? So the law of energy conservation states that the body, well, in general, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, okay? It can only be converted or it will be stored. And so in a positive energy balance, you are consuming more calories than you are expending. Let's say you're bringing in 2,500 calories every day. You are expending, you are burning through various activities and physiological processes. You are burning 2,000 calories. So at the end of the day, you've got 500 calories left over. Your body didn't create it. Your body can't destroy it. It was not converted into work. Therefore, it is stored. And so it is true to say that body fat is simply stored energy, okay? So that's positive energy balance, where you consume, let's say, for example, 2,500 calories, you expend 2,000, therefore you are in an energy surplus, and your body will gain weight. There is the second state, which is a neutral energy balance, where, as you can imagine, you consume the same amount of calories as you expend. And so let's say you bring in 2,500 calories and you expend 2,500 calories. Therefore, on average, over time, your body will maintain its weight, okay? The third one is a negative energy balance. And so that's where we need to focus in on per the goal of weight/fat loss. And in a negative energy balance, let's say you consume 2,000 calories and you expend 2,500 calories. Therefore, you are in a 500 calorie deficit. You may have heard all the TikTokers talking about calorie deficit, droning on. Technically, it's known as a negative energy balance, okay? But a calorie deficit, an energy deficit, if you've heard those terms, that's what they're talking about. That is where you are consuming fewer calories than you are expending on average over time. Therefore, your body, in order to make up that difference, will pull from your body, okay? So it needs to produce 2,500 calories for today's activities, and you only gave it 2,000, therefore it will pull from stores. That is how the body loses weight. That is, by the way, the only way that the body loses weight. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Why? Because it levels the playing field of diet culture. No one has cornered the market on weight loss. And there is not a single diet that causes weight loss. There is only a negative energy balance and whether or not a particular diet puts you into a negative energy balance. I'll give you an example. A lot of times people come up and they say, well, I do keto for weight loss because keto causes weight loss. Keto does not cause weight loss. For those of you that don't know, keto is simply a very low carbohydrate diet. Okay, it was invented way back in the day for children with epilepsy. And now apparently it's all about adults trying to lose weight, which is silly. But that's the state that we're in. So anyways, keto does not cause weight loss. However, if you do keto and that puts you into a negative energy balance, you will lose weight, but it's not keto. Keto is not the mechanism by which weight loss occurs. It is a method, is a framework that tends to put people into a negative energy balance. But if you're on keto eating in a positive energy balance, you're going to gain weight on keto. If you're on keto in maintenance or in a neutral energy balance, you're going to maintain your weight. It just so happens that when people go on keto, which I don't know why you would because carbs are life. I don't know why you would. But however, if someone goes into keto and it causes them to then be in a negative energy balance, of course they're going to lose weight. Did they need to do keto to do that? No. You can simply tilt the energy balance into a negative energy balance without doing keto. Okay. So hope that makes sense. So this is not a way to lose weight. A negative energy balance is not a way to lose weight. It is the way that the body loses weight. It is not a method. It is the mechanism by which the body loses weight. And that's really cool. Why? Because I didn't say anything about any particular food. So it is true, while I don't recommend it, it is true that you can lose weight eating nothing but pizza and ice cream and sweets and candy and cake. You can lose weight eating nothing but pizza, candy, and cake. Okay? If you're in a negative energy balance, I don't recommend it, but it's true. Just like you can gain weight eating nothing but chicken and broccoli if you're in a positive energy balance. Okay? So energy balance is in effect, it is what fuels the first law. It is what informs the first law of thermodynamics. Okay. It is irrespective of your food choices. Now, we're a nutrition company. So do we love nutrient dense foods? Absolutely. Do we love a healthy, sustainable weight loss journey? Yes, of course. That's what we coach to. That's what we believe in. That's what we preach. That's what we teach. However, it is true, and it shows the power of energy balance and the power of the first law of thermodynamics, that it doesn't even matter what food you eat. If you're in a negative energy balance, on average, over time, the human body must lose weight. Okay? So I hope I made that point clear. And there's a lot of unpacking that we could do even just within that in terms of what influences energy balance, et cetera, et cetera. But for the sake of today's question, for the sake of today's answer and the topic, we're going to leave it at that. And we're going to get into, so that is the relationship between calories and weight. Okay, so calories are units of energy and weight is an energy-dependent adaptation in the body. Therefore, calories must be accounted for in some way, shape, or form. They must be manipulated, they must be controlled or shifted or changed in order to cause, again, that negative energy balance to be in effect, because that is not a way to lose weight. That is the way that the body loses weight. Now, there are many different ways to establish negative energy balances, both good and bad. However, what is true is that the body will lose weight in a negative energy balance. Okay, so that's good news. That is good news because this means you don't have to cut out any particular food. Okay, today is a Sunday. I had my celebratory or my weekly donut. I had a donut to start every Sunday. That's how I kick off my week. And I am currently in a personal fat loss phase. Okay, so we go on vacation in a week and I've been slowly losing weight, slowly losing fat. And I can tell you that I still enjoy all the same favorite foods that I eat year round. Okay, what I did, however, is I just simply tilted my numbers into a negative energy balance. All right, so with that said, that's the relationship between calories and body weight. Calories must be accounted for. They must be controlled. They must be put into a negative state in order for the body to lose weight. Okay. Now, 2, the big question. Great. I get it, Mark. I believe you. Calories are important. So how do I calculate those calories for weight loss? So I said I'm going to give you 2 methods. One is the most accurate method. It just takes a little bit longer. The second one is a very accurate method with a little bit of adjustment, and then, but it gets you going quicker, I would say. Okay, so one is the most accurate, just takes a little longer to understand the data. The second one is very accurate, and it's shorter, much quicker to get to the point, and both require a little bit of adjustment, but that one in particular, the second one, may require a little additional adjustment, and we'll talk through that. And by the way, I use the second one more often than not with most clients, the second one. So we'll talk about the most accurate, a little bit longer, very accurate, quicker to the point. And just know that the second one is the one that I actually use with the majority of my weight/fat loss clients. Okay. So number 1, the most accurate way to calculate your calories for weight loss would be this. It would be to track your calories. So stop there real quick. There's tons of apps to do this. Okay. There's 2 that jump to mind that my clients use the most. Number 1 is Lose It app. I don't like the name, but I love the app. It's called Lose It. It's a free calorie counter. The other one is MyFitnessPal. That's arguably the largest, most well-known. Both are great. Both, you can just scan food. You can import recipes. You can manually manipulate, They're both great apps. Okay. So when I say track calories, it's 2022. By the grace of God, we have apps that do this. It's never been easier to track calories. It's never been easier to understand what's actually in our food. We're even in a restaurant culture now in some states with regulatory systems where they're making restaurants tell you how many calories are in any given dish. And so it has never been easier to track your calories than it is right now on your phone, on the fly, with technology. So that said, the most accurate method, but can take a little longer, would be to track your calories, okay? Everything that you eat that contains calories, and food and drink that contains calories, track all those energy points, okay? Put those into a spreadsheet if you want to, okay? And also track your body weight to a decimal point. So, 190.3 or whatever that is, 150.5. Track your body weight every day to one decimal point, and the average week over week, that's what we call your average weight. There's no such thing as like a real weight because your body is always changing weight. Okay. In fact, it was just like 2 weekends ago, I decided to track my body weight just for a day at like 4 or 5 different times throughout the day. And I had multiple swings between 1 to 5 pounds within a given day. No joke. So I woke up and I can't remember the exact numbers. I've got them logged somewhere. I should have brought those. I didn't plan on going off on this little tangent, but suffice it to say, I woke up at one weight. I ate. I went up to another weight. I played a soccer game that day. I went way down, 5 pounds down. And then by the end of the day, I was about 2 pounds up. And so it swung between like 1 and 5 pounds in that day, just on a Sunday. Okay. So all that's to say, body fluctuations, weight fluctuations are real. They're normal. They're good. They're healthy. They're amazing. Okay. But they can be confusing if you're only weighing yourself every so often and you catch yourself on one of those upswings and you're like, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart. I need to stop eating. Or you catch yourself on one of those bottom out moments, like after my soccer game where I was, quote, 5 pounds down and be like, oh, I'm good. I can eat whatever I want. You don't want to look at your body weight in terms of those fluctuations. You want to take a look at your body weight on average. Okay. So track it in a spreadsheet, average it at the end of the week, and look at that average weight. So all that's to say, if you understand your calorie intake and related to your body weight, you will now have the most accurate picture of your individual metabolism, your individual caloric needs. And so if you're consuming, let's just say 2,000 calories, okay, and you're tracking your average weight for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and that average weight stays the same, guess what you've just learned? That 2,000 calories is your maintenance, okay? Now, if you're eating 2,000 calories and tracking your average weight, and you see that your weight is going up, guess what? That means you're now in a surplus. Okay, so you're in a positive energy balance. If you're eating 2,000 on average every day and your average body weight is going up for 2, 3, 4 weeks, you're now in a positive energy balance. Same is true if you're tracking 2,000 calories and you're watching your average body weight and your body weight is going down, 2,000 calories is a negative energy balance for you. Okay, that is the most accurate way to get an individual reading of what's taking place because that accounts for all the things going on in your life. That's the raw data. Okay, and so for you, it might be fun, even if you're listening to this and you're not trying to lose weight, it might just be fun to do that for a month. Okay, track all your calories for a month. You can do anything for 4 weeks. Okay, you can do anything for 4 weeks. And again, tracking calories has never been easier. It might just be fun to track your calories to get an understanding of what's your average intake. Okay, so all your calories divided by 7 is your average intake for the week. And then all your weight fluctuation averaged out over 7 days is your average weight. It might just be fun to learn. What are you taking in consistently? Okay, what does your average body weight look like in any given week? Okay, but if you're trying to lose weight, of course, you're going to see if you're in a positive energy balance, you're in a maintenance, or a neutral energy balance, or if you're in a negative energy balance. So what I would do is again, most accurate method would be to track your calories, track your average body weight over time, see where you are, and then you can adjust accordingly. Okay, so if you're at a neutral energy balance at 2,000 calories, lower than 2,000 calories would start to put you into a negative energy balance and therefore cause weight. Now, how much of a negative energy balance should you be in? I'll talk about that in the second method. And if we can help you with this or work through any individual considerations, feel free to reach out. You can go to imagonutrition.com/contact. And you can send me a web form and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We can set up a time to meet to talk through some of your individual considerations, activity level, lifestyle, work, all that sort of stuff. Okay. So I want to present this simply, but I don't want you to think that I believe it's simple. I've often said that weight loss is simple, but it's not easy. I just scratched my mic because if you're watching me on YouTube, you realize I moved my hands and I just drug my nail across the microphone. Podcaster 101, don't scrape the mic. All right. So all that's to say, again, yes, weight loss is simple. It comes down to energy balance. However, it's not easy because we're humans, we have lives, we have considerations, we have different things, okay? So all that's to say, that's the most accurate way to get a picture of your body. What's taking place within your body is to track all your calories and then to track all your weight and then rub those two numbers together over the course of weeks, months, and then you'll get the most accurate understanding of your individual needs. Now, if you came to me and said, I would rather get to a point quicker, knowing that I may do kind of adjust some things. And by the way, you still need to adjust because like I said, if you're in a neutral energy balance, you want to lose weight. Okay, now you got to adjust your calories. If you're eating 2,000 and not losing weight, then maybe you should be eating 1,800. You can start to lose weight, okay, or 1,750. So now the second method, which is very accurate and quicker, okay, just might require a little bit more adjustment. Here's the method that I would recommend. So if you are that kind of person, you're like, all right, I want to start today. I want to know my numbers today, or at least really close today, right now, immediate. Okay. American culture, fast. Let's go. Tweet, give it to me. Here's how I would do it. And here's how I do it. Number one, there's a calculator online. You can go to TDEE, that stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure. So TDEE calculator.net. Okay. TDEE calculator.net. Okay. Go to that website. It's going to have you give it some information. Okay. And this uses the same calculation that Danielle and I had to learn to do manually in our formal nutrition training. Okay. And then, as I tell clients, by the grace of God, we took the test. We never had to do it manually again. It's called the Mifflin-St. Jeor formula. Okay. Very accurate at predicting your calorie needs based off some criteria. Number one, what's your sex, male or female? What's your age? What is your body weight currently? Not what do you want to be? What is your current body weight? Okay. What is your height? What is your activity level? Okay. And I tell people, if you're going into a weight loss phase, be conservative on that. We tend to overestimate how often and how much we burn in calories in terms of workout. And so if you're between two of those values, you're between, low activity and moderate, go with low. That's what I tell people. Okay. So again, sex, age, weight, height, activity, and then body fat is optional. So if you've done a body fat scan recently and you know that number, great. If not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. That one is optional, but you definitely got to put in your sex, your age, your weight, your height, and your activity level. And again, be conservative if you're between two values in that regard. Okay. Now that website's going to spit out a whole bunch of information for you. Okay. A lot. It's going to have different things about ideal weight, and BMI and macro percentage breakdown, whether you're on low carb, moderate carb, blah, 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 blah. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. And it's fascinating. I love reading through that page. But the results page, when you get to the results page, after you've given it that criteria, I want you to look for two things. That's it. Just two things. One, your maintenance calories. Okay. It'll say that right at the top, calories per day. What the maintenance calories are is that neutral energy balance. If you want to stay the same weight, those are the amount of calories you need to consume on average over time. Okay. So on average, day in and day out, those are your maintenance calories to maintain where you currently are. Okay. The other number I want you to jot down. So write down your maintenance calories and then write down underneath that what's called your basal metabolic rate. Some people call this a resting metabolic rate. It's really technically known as the basal metabolic rate. This is essentially the amount of calories that your body burns in a given day just to exist. Okay, so the way I explain it with clients is if you wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m., you open your eyes in bed and you don't move. You don't get out of bed for anything. You don't even move. 11 p.m. comes, you close your eyes because you get a solid 8 hours of sleep, which is also highly recommended. You close your eyes at 11 p.m., you go to bed. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories your body would burn that day or in a given 24-hour cycle, just maintaining its existence. Okay. It's like a car that's idling. Okay. Unlike what some people think is that your car is on during the day, then we turn it off at night. It's not true. Your body is always at least idling, and that's burning calories, even if you're not doing anything. Okay. So one, write out your maintenance calories and then write out your basal metabolic rate. Here's why I do that. Now, this is a little bit of the secret sauce that I utilize with clients. It's a little bit of the art that is certainly informed by the science, but it's both a science and an art. So if you are looking to lose weight, okay, I would start by looking at your maintenance calories and knowing that you need to be consuming fewer calories than maintenance in order to cause weight loss, to go from a neutral energy balance into a negative energy balance. So if that says 2,000 calories, okay, you know that you're going to need to consume fewer than that. So the question is, how much fewer? How fast can I make this, Mark? One, in general, I only recommend I recommend most people, there are some exceptions, okay? Most people, I tend to target between a half pound to a pound and a half of weight loss per week on average. Now, that may sound slow to you because you've been deceived by diet culture. Well, that's too slow. Says who? Says who? Keto Brad down the street, right? MLM supplement mom down the street, selling you detoxes and cleanses. No, okay? We do not need to starve our way to results. What we need to do is we need to have a healthy balance that allows for flexibility. This is what we teach all our clients. Allows for flexibility, all your favorite fun foods, but we need to put it into context in accordance with your goals. So if your maintenance is 2,000 calories, and let's say your basal metabolic rate is 1,500, what I recommend is thinking of that as your ceiling and your floor. Okay, so if you want to lose weight, you know you need to consume fewer than your maintenance calories. However, in 15 years or however long I've been doing this, since 2008, can't even do the math because I'm getting old. Since 2008, I have never recommended anyone eat fewer calories than their basal metabolic rate. Okay, so yes, ladies, I think the average female in America's basal metabolic rate is like 1,500. That's why I get frustrated when people sell you on these 1,200 calorie diets, which is atrocious. These people should be in jail. Okay. 1,200, by the way, is around the average intake or recommended intake for a toddler, not an adult. Okay. And so, let's say your maintenance calories are 2,000 and your basal metabolic rate is 1,500. What I recommend is you consume fewer than 2,000, but more than 1,500. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, there's some math that we could do based off an understanding of what a pound of fat is. It's not quite as simple as some people make it seem. But in general, we do know that 1 pound of body fat contains 3,500 calories. Okay, so there's a lot of complexities that I won't get into. I'll save that for another episode. However, if you are targeting a negative energy balance of, say, 500 calories, you could stand a reason that you might lose about a pound a week. Okay, half of that would be 250 calories, right? So you might lose about half a pound a week. Okay, but again, go back to what I said, which is think of your maintenance calories as your ceiling. Don't go above that. Okay, don't go above that on average. Doesn't mean a single day can't be a little over that, right? But on average, when you average out your calories for the week, it should equal fewer than 2,000 calories, okay, a day because you're trying to lose weight. But I want you above your basal metabolic rate because I want to care for your metabolism in the process. So long story short, yes, you can slow your metabolism in the process. And yes, as you become a smaller human being, your metabolism will, quote, slow down because there's less active tissue in your body. That's okay. That's normal. What we don't want to do is we don't want to get into a yo-yo dieting vicious cycle, which is crash your calories, cause your body to too quickly and too dramatically slow your metabolism, okay? And then get so frustrated at 1,200 calories that you come out of that diet for a couple months, you're back to eating 2,400 calories. You're not only gaining weight, you're gaining more weight at a faster pace than you did before the diet. Now you're frustrated. Okay. And then you go back into this 1,200 calorie diet and you crash your diet. The metabolism cannot be broken. It cannot be damaged. It will adapt, however. Okay. So if you go way below your basal metabolic rate, what you're going to do is signal to your body that if it needs 1,500 calories just to exist for a day, you're only giving it 1,200 calories, it's going to slow down. Does that make sense? So it's going to slow down because its energy intake is below what it needs just to maintain its existence for a day. Okay, so I don't recommend ever eating below your estimated basal metabolic rate. Okay, so that kind of gives you the window of opportunity, as I say, between your maintenance calories and your basal metabolic rate. Now, there's a lot goes into what makes that most sustainable, what makes that healthy, and that's topic for another episode, or if I can help you with that individually, reach out. But suffice it to say, if we know about what your maintenance calories are, We know you need to eat fewer than that. And I'm arguing and of the mindset that you need to be eating above your basal metabolic rate. That gives you the window. So again, if it says your maintenance is 2,000 calories and your metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate is 1,500, I recommend eating between that. Okay. There might be some days where you're closer to 2,000. There might be some days you're closer to 1,500. However you want to do that and strategize, and we can talk through that. I help people through. I have some clients that love hitting the same calorie target every day. I have some people that love fluctuating, but hitting that average over a week, right? And with all my clients, we calculate, here's your daily goal, and then multiply that by 7. There's your weekly goal. And you can move calories around. You can bank some for a Friday night because you're going to go over your 2,000, whatever, but it's just for that day. So it's all about averages. Your body weight is as an average and your calorie intake is an average, okay? Fluctuations are going to happen. That's fine, okay? So I hope that makes sense. And then I would recommend tracking your average body weight to ensure, okay? So this is going to give you an estimate, a very educated estimate. However, if you're tracking your calories, right, and you're like, well, it said my maintenance was 2,000, and so I'm eating 1,800, and let's say you're tracking very accurately, you're hitting your 1,800 calories, you're watching your average body weight, and you're hitting, again, that 1,800 calorie average, which you think is below your 2,000, which is your estimated maintenance, and you see over 2-3 weeks your body weight isn't moving, guess what? That means 1,800 might be your estimate. It might, or you might be your maintenance. Okay. So again, tracking calories is key. Download an app, figure out what that is, use the tdeecalculator.net website, load in your information, see what your maintenance is, see what your basal metabolic rate is, track your calories, consume fewer than your estimated maintenance, but above your estimated basal metabolic rate for the health of your metabolism long-term. Okay. And just frustration that comes from eating too few calories and being hangry all the time. Okay. It's going to make it a much more enjoyable experience. Oh, but Mark, that's going to take longer. Yeah, it should. It really should. We just need to be able to say that confidently. Well, I want to lose 10 pounds this month. No, I don't think you do. And I don't recommend it. Okay. Unless you're an extreme case. We should be looking at 0.5 pound, 1 pound, 1.5 pounds, maybe a week of average body weight lost. That's sustainable. It's going to be far more enjoyable of a process for you. And the chances of you coming back from that or gaining that weight back in the research we see is a lot less, okay, from people that do a healthy weight loss process as opposed to those who crash it and go into a yo-yo system, okay? So don't do that. So again, let me just try to summarize that. Start tracking your calories, head over to the TDEE calculator, find your maintenance calories, your basal metabolic calories, or basal metabolic rate, consume fewer calories than your maintenance, but consume above your basal metabolic rate. That should be your window of opportunity to begin to move you into a negative energy balance in a sustainable way that you can lose weight. And by the way, notice I never once said anything about any particular food. Oh, Mark, so I could just do that and have cake? Yes. I could just do that and eat chicken and broccoli? Yes. Because energy balance, the glory of energy balance is that it levels the playing field. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So the relationship of calories to weight is that it is the mechanism, energy balance is the mechanism by which the body loses weight. How do we establish what that calorie intake should be? We use a calculator. We either track our body data over time or we use a calculator to get there quicker and make some adjustments, eat below your maintenance, eat above your basal metabolic rate. And then finally, let's just talk about protein real quick. So because this is such a passion of mine, I help so many people with this, I can't help but just give this information out as often as possible. So within that, let's say that your negative energy balance, okay, is 2,000 calories. I like using that because it's a nice even number, okay? And I was a communications major undergrad, and so math, not exactly my thing, okay? So let's say that you find out your maintenance calories are 2,500, okay? And a deficit for you to target a pound of weight loss a week would be 2,000 calories. Now, within those 2,000 calories, here's my next best advice to you. Make sure that you're focused on protein. Now, this is not bro science. This is not bodybuilder-like mentality. In the research, we see that protein plays a significant role. I think I've gone over this in previous episodes. I'll kind of do a little bit of a flyby. But for no less than a couple reasons. Number one, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. Therefore, you burn more calories digesting protein than you do carbs and fats. Okay. Two, it helps maintain or build muscle, which is key to metabolism. It's key to health. It's key to a lot of outcomes. And muscle requires more energy to operate than fat. So having more muscle on your body or maintaining as much muscle as possible, even in a weight loss process, super advantageous long term. It's great for metabolic health, great for stability and strength and injury prevention and all the things. But even just within the weight loss context, having muscle and maintaining that muscle as much as possible sets you up for a more enjoyable process of losing weight and ensuring that that weight is coming from fat and not weight loss from losing muscle. So again, highest thermic effective food, maintains and helps grow muscle. And third, it's highly satiating. It's highly satiating. Again, I know I've touched on this in other podcast episodes. So if you want a deeper dive, go take a look back at some of the things like how much protein should I eat in a day? How much fiber should I eat in a day? But suffice it to say, protein and fiber are highly satiating. They fill us up, okay? So hitting optimal protein within a weight loss process is key because you would be shocked how many clients I hear that say, I'm more full on fewer calories in this weight loss process than I was before when I was gaining weight. How am I more satisfied while I'm losing weight than I was before? And that's because we've optimized protein and fiber as well. So all that's to say, highest thermic effective food, it cranks up your metabolism to a certain degree, maintains and builds muscle, which is great for metabolic health. It also requires more energy to operate, so it can help accelerate the fat loss process or maintain that metabolic health. And then three, it's just highly satiating, okay? So within that, let's say that 2,000 calories is your deficit, okay? So let's say that you are losing weight on 2,000 calories, okay? The research says, and I, again, went over this in a prior podcast about how much protein should you eat in a day. There's like 8 studies that I cite in the show notes of that episode. You can go back and find all those PMIDs. I'm not making up these numbers, okay? This is not my general wisdom or guidance or experience. This is in the research. That what we've seen is that as a percentage of those calories, so of those 2,000 calories in which you are losing weight, optimizing your protein would be 25 to 30% of those calories coming from protein. Now, here's how we're going to do this, okay? So it's pretty simple to get your percentage, right? Even a comm major like me can remember when we learned how to create a percentage out of two, numbers. So one, you take 2,000 calories, multiply it by 0.25. That gives you 500 calories from protein, okay? Now, are you eating 500 grams of protein? No, not at all. So 2,000 calories, we need to convert it from calories to grams. So 2,000 calories, you're losing weight on 2,000 calories. You want to get to 25 to 30% of those calories coming from protein. So to find 25%, 2,000 calories, multiply it by 0.25. That will give you 500 calories from protein. Divide that by 4 because there are 4 calories per gram of protein. Okay, following with me? 2,000 calories times 0.25 equals 500 calories from protein divided by 4 equals 125 grams of protein. Okay, 125 grams of protein is the low end of the recommended protein percentage for optimizing the weight loss process. On the higher end, it's 30%. So same methodology, 2,000 calories multiplied by 0.30 or 0.3 would give you 600 calories from protein divided by 4, because there are 4 calories per gram of protein, equals 150 grams of protein. So your range in a 2,000 calorie context, 25 to 30% of that would be 125 to 150 grams of protein. Okay. So within that, again, that is super key. So a lot of people are talking about macros and tracking your carbs and your fats and your protein and your calories and your new app and you're tracking your body weight. And people are like, that's overwhelming. Let me simplify it for you. Track your calories. Yes. Hit your daily calories. That is the number one principle. It is the determinant of weight change. Okay. Track that one. And I recommend tracking your protein. At the very least, track your protein to 25 to 30% of those calories coming from protein. So in the simplest way, people are like, what about carbs and fats? Let them be. Let them be. Danielle likes more fat in her diet. I like more carbs in my diet. I'm getting ready to go to a soccer game tonight. I've been loading up on carbs, right? And so let carbs and fats be preference. And those change day to day. But what you want to focus on in a weight loss environment is hitting your daily calories, hitting your protein. Those are the top two things. And if you wanted a third, I would say your fiber. Okay, so you can go back through previous episodes, take a look at how much fiber should you consume in a day. You could tack that on if you're like me and you like a rule of thirds. You like 3 things to focus on: calories, protein, and fiber. But for the purposes of weight loss, the point being, you have to control your calories. And I would argue the next most valuable thing you can do is track your protein. Don't worry about carbs and fats. If you like it, if you love tracking your carbs and your fat and seeing how the percentages change over, great, do it. But don't feel you need to in order to see massive sustainable success in this area. Okay. With that, I hope that makes sense. Okay. So again, just remember the relationship between calories and weight, the mechanism by which the body loses weight, which is that negative energy balance, how to establish that, looking at your maintenance calories and your basal metabolic rate, eating in that window between the two. And then optimize your protein. 25 to 30% of those calories coming from protein will optimize it for many reasons. All right. And so I hope this has been super helpful. If it has, would love for you to subscribe, to leave a review, share this with a friend. If you guys have been debating, calories or hearing all this stuff, or you're, out there on TikTok and they're like, take your body weight times 12, divide it, whatever these weird calculations are doing. This is a far more effective, far more sound methodology in order to getting to your numbers quicker in an accurate fashion. And so anyways, I hope this episode has been super helpful. Again, would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, let us know how we're doing, share with a friend. We just want to help as many people as we can with this free content. That is why we put out the free podcast. Okay. If you're on social media, you can follow us at Imago Nutrition, at IMAGO Nutrition. And as always, would like to thank the band Happy Pill for our theme song, Thinkin Bout Food, because on the Imago Nutrition podcast, we're always thinking about food.